Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Arthur Torrington, Director of Windrush Foundation. And today we have Alexander the Great, who is going to talk with us and then give us a song. But Alex, I just want to ask you something about your name. I mean, how did you get that name?
Well, as many Caribbean children have, I was named David after a favourite uncle, but I was never called David. They wanted to call me Alexander, and they did, so I was always known as Alex or Sandy. And as most Calypsonians, certainly in the early days, used to have a connection with their name. For instance, Roaring Lion's real name was Raphael de Leon, so you've got lion in the name. Alexander, initial D for David. Great was the obvious thing to follow it, so Alexander the Great is my Calypso name.
Okay, and how long you had that name?
It's about 25, 26
Oh,
years
that's
now.
That's a long
Yes,
time.
quite a long time.
That's very good. So Alexa, what have you been doing over the Windrush season, so to speak?
I've been very busy. I'm doing workshops in schools, and I have quite a few gigs. I have 4, I think, this week. Next week, some I'm going from places around London as far afield as Sussex, Glynde Festival, and going up to Northampton and places like that, East Midlands. It's very exciting, doing lots of work, as well as preparing for the carnival season with the Association of Calypsonians. UK.
Okay, tell us about that.
We celebrated 25 years as an association last year, and we are really the last bastion of Calypso in Britain, which is regularly put on. We put on every Friday in August and also over the carnival. And I would hope to hear, there's 27 members altogether, though we don't all sing at the same evenings. I would expect to hear some quite good thoughts on the various anniversaries we're celebrating this year. There'll be songs about Windrush, songs about the NHS, I hope, the vote for women, and the RAF's 100th anniversary. So I'm assuming that there'll be some quite nice tidbits there to be heard. You know?
Now, I know that you have a song about heroes.
Yes.
Just tell us about it.
Well, I've got an album out, it's only been out about a week. It's called Portraits and Tributes, and on it I have a song called Remember Our Heroes for the Caribbean servicemen and women who contributed during the 2 wars, along with some other songs about various people who I think are worthy of, my writing a song about them, including 4 RAF Caribbean flyers. So, Remember Our Heroes is the song. You'd like to hear it?
Yeah, well, let's go. Yep.
Okay, there we go then.
This is a special edition of Windrush 70, and today we have a lady who is a poet, a performance poet. Her name is Nairobi Thompson, and we're going to ask her a few questions about poetry, about what she's doing, and what she intends to do in the future, and about 2 poems that you're going to give us. Okay, Nairobi?
Oh, well, thank you very much for having me. So yes, I'm a performance poet, and you wanted to know how I got into...
Involved, yes.
How I got involved. Well, I really started with writing. I tend to see myself as a writer first and foremost, and I put a number of pieces together, and somebody who knew me well said, well, what are you going to do with all of this poetry, Nairobi? Why don't you do an open mic? And that was in 2013. And my response was, well, what's one of those? Because I just wasn't at all familiar with the circuit. So I went along and I performed my piece, and it went down very well. And I thought, I kind of like this. I think I'm going to do it again.
And that was only 5 years ago?
Yes.
Oh.
So here I am, still doing the same thing. A number of different projects have come out of it, which I'm really proud of. But I'm a writer, and I think I'm best placed to articulate the feeling and the emotion behind what I've written.
But you must have been writing before.
Not really, which is really interesting. I mean, I write as part of, like most people, as part of work, reports, etc. But I think it was a result of some trauma that I had experienced, and writing was very cathartic for me. And out of that came the poetry. And as a result, then I started to put more and more pieces together, and people would say things like, well, can you write a poem for my birthday or for my anniversary or this very special person, and here are her or his characteristics, and I just started to be commissioned to write pieces, and it grew from there, and I realized you know, actually I can do this. This is
Okay, so
quite a
that talent
surprise.
just arose then.
It's a real surprise to me. It's another chapter in my life, pardon the pun, but it's another chapter in my life that I really had no idea was lying dormant there waiting for me to discover this part of myself. So it's a very exciting time for me.
So any specialities in your poetry? Do you like to focus on any particular thing?
I'm grateful actually that my writing is quite broad. So I don't like the idea of being pigeonholed. Sometimes, you know, people think, oh, she's a social commentator, so that's what she writes, and oh, she likes to write about love and, you know, romance, and you kind of get typecasted into that. So I write the whole gambit: social commentary, love, faith, mental health, abuse, everything. I write about absolutely everything.
And what's the inspiration though behind that?
The inspiration is all around me. So even talking to you is an inspiration, because you are such an inspirational man. You have so much knowledge, and it's wonderful to sit and listen to you, and that conjures up images.
You can do a poem in a minute.
I can. It conjures up images of what it is to have somebody this valuable with the knowledge that you have about our background, Windrush 70, and all of that just locked up in that wonderful brain of yours. And that would inspire me. Just this conversation would inspire me to write one about you.
Okay.
I'll entitle it Arthur, and everybody will know.
Why not? King Arthur. Well, okay. Now you're going to do two poems for us.
Yes.
And, okay, why would you have chosen those two?
Well, the first one, because we are talking about Windrush
Yes.
70, and I'm an after Windrush baby. So I was born in the 60s, and it's hard for people to believe, because I am rather fabulous, but it is true. Cocoa butter, cocoa butter. So, so the first one is entitled The Front Room, and it's about my childhood experience of what it was like to live in a home where there was a very special place, and what that place represented. So that's the one the first poem I'm going to do.
And the other?
And the second one is called Puss and Dog. And it's really encapsulating how what a shock it was to West Indians when they came from their respective islands, thinking that they were British subjects, and that equating to being a British citizen, and then finding out that actually the balances were not they were not equal.
Okay.
So they were not being treated equally, and it's just a way. This Puss and Dog is a way of it's a metaphor for differential treatment.
Okay. This is a Windrush 70 special. My name is Arthur Torrington, the director of Windrush Foundation. And we have again, because he was here before, Victor Richards. So he's an actor, and he's going to tell us what he's been doing since we last spoke.
Yeah, it's been a busy time. 70th anniversary Windrush. Well, there's been a lot of performance around the country, and started off in Birmingham, right through to London, and back again, and now I'll be going up north, Nottingham, Sheffield, Leeds, Manchester.
You're a busy man.
Very busy, very busy. And it's a combination of poetry, drama, and storytelling.
But what made you come up with this sort of idea, one-man show, Windrush?
That's a
Briefly.
long one, but I'm going to give you the brief one. Yeah. Well, first of all, it's about confidence and an opportunity to travel. It's a passport to leisure, educational, and I was conscious that I'll be doing something that would become very legacy, and making sure that people remember our parents and grandparents and those young ones. And I think now we have those young prodigies coming along. A lot of talented people, 3.2 million now over the last 70 years. So it's a community now, since 1940.
What's been people's response to what you've been doing?
The response has been positive. Every single year, it grows, it develops. People want more. They encourage me so much to continue the work.
But what in particular, and what aspect of the Windrush story?
I think the young children want more. They want to learn more, they want to ask more questions, and encourage them to do that, to ask their parents more questions. People love to be reminded of the the way how things used to be, you know, when mommy and daddy went to the parties, or they went to church, or the way they used to dress, the music, the food, the Christmas times. And there's all those things that we, you know, the front room in particular, you know, that was the sort of thing that people like to hear in these stories.
So really then, Windrush has captured the imagination of young people. How do you think that young people are going to see the future with Windrush?
Well, since what's gone on in the news lately, Windrush is a word that everybody knows all over the world now. So it's opened up new doors, new possibilities, and there's opportunities for everybody. So there's a bigger platform now, and it's like a main street. So I think it's main thing that I think we're gonna see a change is people's understanding and awareness of what our parents and grandparents went through, and then more of appreciation too.
Because so legacy is an important factor in terms of this whole story.
Yes.
So how are you going to really keep this legacy performance on the road in future years?
Documentation. Getting people like this, obviously it's documented, it's digital. The poetry and the music side of it is a fast-growing phenomenon, and particularly for young people, they like to hear the stories with music. You see, so and there's a lot more of us now doing a lot more for Windrush. That's a good thing. The more people get on board, the better. Doing a variety of different events in a variety of different ways. The politicians are on board now. So there's going to be a lot of documentation I see around. So I think it's all there for future generations to go and research and continue the work.
Okay, lovely. Now, Victor, thanks very much. Now, you're going to do a couple of performances later on. So thanks again and good luck.
Thank you.